just like Horong is. Um, 10 hit combo for Jack 7. 10 hit combo, the second and third hit now have crouching status. I really don't know what the point of this change is. I'm not familiar with Jack's 10 hit combo. I know certain characters' 10 hit combos, if they hit in certain places, um, it makes more hits guaranteed. But this just means that if when Jack goes for down 2-1, which is the jab into the duck jab into the low hit, and he does the second hit, he stays crouching. And I don't know if this is a bug fix or this is a buff. I mean, technically it makes the move better because that means like if people are trying to beat beat him out with a jab afterward, because sometimes like you hit down 2-1 and then Jack will just do while standing 4 or something like that, and you'll just want to stuff him out with a jab. Now it won't. Now he'll just go under the jab if he keeps doing the 10 hit combo. It's a really weird change. It's technically a buff. I want to see if I'm interested in seeing if it does anything. Let's see here. I have a video for this new change. For while standing 1-2, positive frames for the opponent when the move is blocked is increased by 1, which means it's now minus 14 instead of minus 13, I believe. Let me double check that. And then properties on counter hit. If the second hit hits counter hit, it's now a launcher. So, got that. Just want to show you guys that. If this plays, there we go. The sound just cuts out. It's not me. And that's the other change. If he does full crouch, down 4-3+4, it knocks him down. It used to knock, I think it used to just knock away, and now it just knocks him down right in front of him, and he can get a free hit afterward. But, let's see here, while standing. Yeah, now it's minus 14, and if the second hit on counter hit, it still knocks down on regular hit, I think, and if you get if they block the first hit and they mash because they want to because the first hit's minus 7, it's safe, but you lose advantage. So if they block the first part and you think they're gonna mash, you hit them with the second part, and now you get a combo. So that's a pretty good buff for him. The damage had decreased by 3 though. And then the video showed the atomic shoulder tackle crouching down forward 3+4 properties on hit have now been changed. So these are 3 buffs. From depending on who you talk to, like if you talk to Jack 7 mains, they think he's really good, and then other people don't think he's that good. And I think I'm in the camp that I think he's low key, really good character, and it's gonna take somebody like an Anakin and something again to really convince people that this character is annoying as hell again. But that's like months away. Asuka, Rage Drive, startup frames have been made faster by 2 frames. Pushback on the move on block is reduced. So this is a buff for the Rage Drive. In my opinion, I thought this Rage Drive was always been super meh. It's faster now, and it's plus frames, so the pushback on block is reduced. So that means they're closer to you when you're plus frames, so you can potentially force a better mix-up. Swallow size, down back 1 tracking has been increased. Pretty good. Asuka's tracking has always been like kind of wonky in general. Burning Lantern, forward 4-1 recovery frames on hit on block reduced by 3 frames. Recovery frames for the opponent blocking the move decreased by 2 frames. Pushback on the move on hit is reduced. Alright, I gotta see. what the frame data on this move is now because those are like really weird changes all at once. Alright, so forward forward 1. It's +4 on block. And is this the same move? 'Cause it says it knocks down. I don't know. Pushback on the move on the hit is reduced. I'm not an Asuka player, so this one is escaping me. Shikitai, while sending 1-4, fixed an issue with the input window for this move would change if done after certain other moves. Probably a bug fix. I don't know if it's a nerf or buff, but it's probably a bug that shouldn't have happened. Rising Airbow, while sending 2, startup frames have been made faster by 1 frame. Um, this is kind of, let's see. So Asuka's wall sending 2 is kind of a wonky move in general. It's a rising elbow, and it's kind of been there's never been a reason to do it really because you always have historically you've always had while standing 1-4, which knocks down, does more damage or whatever. So as a Punisher, there's never been a reason to do it because it's always been about the same speed. It's in like 1 frame slower, 1 frame faster. I'm sorry, than while standing 1-4. It's awkward to use in neutral because it's a single hit. It's like -8 on block, but it's +8 or 9 on hit. So basically, by making it 1 frame faster, they're putting it into like the 13, 14 frame territory. And Asuka's punishment in general sucks. Her 10 frames, she gets a single jab. While standing, she just gets while standing while standing 4 until like 15 frames where she finally gets while standing 1-4. So this is sort of giving her like a 13 frame Punisher that does that hopefully does a little bit more damage while still giving her frame advantage. It's they're trying to make a kind of janky, kind of useless move a little bit better. I don't know if it's going to help or not. And Minazuki crouching down forward 3, recovery frames decreased by 2 frames. This she kind of needed. This move used to be launch punishable, so by making it 2 frames, it's now -13. Uh, and the only person that's going to be able to launch it is Kazuya doing a perfect electric. When they gave her this move in FR, I never understood why they made it launch punishable because it's not that great. It's kind of slow. It's not like slow slow, but it's like 18 frames, somewhere between 18 and 20 frames. Um, uh, it it didn't even give a combo on regular hit. It gave a combo on counter hit. So you were fishing for a counter hit on a launch punishable move. So it's a buff, but I feel like the move should have been that way from the start, in my opinion. All right, I don't even know if we're halfway through yet, but we're up to Devil Jin. Rage Drive, Crouch Dash 3, 3 Crouch Dash 4, 3+4. Pushback on the first hit on block has been increased. Hitbox on the second hit has been made bigger. Third hit of the Rage Drive recovers 2 frame faster on block and on whiff now. So like Law, this Rage Drive, this one gives a combo on hit, but it was -15 on block. So now it's -13-ish or so, which again, I think it should have been that way from the beginning. If you're going to make it punishable, don't make a move that's going to use his rage and then make it launch punishable. It doesn't make sense. It now it used to be -16, now it's -14. So it's still potentially launch punishable by certain characters, but holy shit. It's a rage drive. It's supposed to be your trump card, and if they block it, you get launched. It doesn't make sense to me. Come on. Down back 2, recovery frames for the opponent after getting hit by this move is increased by 1 frame. So basically means it's +1 on block, +1 more on block, which means I think it went from +2 to +3, I want to say. Yeah, +3. So -13, +3 on hit, 22 frame low. I mean, honestly, I think this move gets more credit than it deserves. I don't think down back 2 is an amazing low, and I don't think plus 3 just means you can. Let's see, what can you do at plus 3? I mean, you're still going to trade with while sending 1. While sending 1 is still going to trade with a duck jab. If they do while sending 4, you'll beat out you'll beat out the while sending 4 if you do twin pistons. So technically, that's a buff to allow him to use his new moves, which is twin pistons recovery frames increased by what 2 frames. So now it's going from -5 to -7. And he's got a new move now, mouse standing 1-4, which I do have a video of. And it does substantially more damage than Twin Pistons by itself. Twin Pistons by itself does 26. This does 35. It's hard to see, but so they're both natural combo, and I think if the while standing 1-4 hits in the air, it does a screw. So I think he might detect. Sorry, I can't talk. Oh, I do have the video of that. Um, he might have a better hell sweep combo now. Markman posted this on Twitter. I don't know if that's better damage, but and it kind of looks janky because you're doing hell sweep into down 2. But it's options, I guess. So, little changes for Deligen, but it might be. I think it also wall splats if you're close enough to the wall. So, new move, does a lot of cool things, and basically a couple of changes to work around that new move. Alright, Fang, Climbing Dragon, property on the first hit when it hits an opponent on his back has been changed. I can't remember if this move in Tag 2, if somebody knows, they can correct me. I feel like if you tried to go for forward 3-4 on somebody's back, half the time they would get pushed out, and then the second hit would whiff. But I might be thinking of a different character's move. But so either they're making it more consistent as a back turn punish or less consistent, and I honestly don't know the difference. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. But Tiger's Claw, forward 1+2 attack hitbox has been made bigger. I know that the attack hitbox has been made bigger, and I know for Monkey Strike, his new crouching down forward 2 that looks like the Johnny Cage nut punch. Um, After you hit this, you can now go hit down forward 1+2. I don't know if it's a better combo, but it's definitely possible. And it works on all characters. But Monkey Strike in general, the recovery frames decrease by 3 frames, and recovery frames for the opponent after blocking this move is increased by 1 frame. So that means the move itself is 3 frames faster, but it's only 1 frame better on block. Let me see if I can find Fang. I think this is Fang. I remember this being -15, which kind of like would dissuade people from using it. But now it should be, yeah, now it's -14. It's a little bit safer. Not everybody is not going to get a free launch on this. Only some characters can potentially launch him. He gets a combo. But kind of like the other moves where they're making him a little bit safer or whatever, pushback on the move has been reduced, so it's easier to punish. We'll go back. We'll work it back up here. Landslide, Corsic forward 1, damage increased by 2. I think this move always did a truckload of damage, so giving it 2 is like what, 5%, maybe 8% increase. It's whatever. And then these two are the same change. Basically, this is his shifting cloud stance, forward or backwards. So the forward shifting clouds, the forward low, and the back one, the low, both give the new like knock out your legs, upside down bound, whatever you want to call that new counter hit animation. And at the very least, he gets a free stomp. So that's a buff because um, I know for forward shifting clouds used to knock down, but you could still get up. It was a mix up. And I don't think the counter hit on back shifting clouds one ever did anything on counter hit. So it's a bigger buff for the back one, but either way he still gets guaranteed damage if he gets a counter hit. So I'm gonna assume this is a buff, and the rest of these are all buffs. So man, Fang was a strong character in my opinion already, and he got a little bit better. Lily. Rage art, tracking on the move is reduced. A lot of characters have had this change. Rage drive, frame advantage on block increased by 3 frames. So it's plus 3 more. Let's see here. So now it's saying it's plus 9. So if she can use. So I think this is really good for her. Just, in general it's plus 9. But for whatever reason, her rage art seemed to do way less damage than most other characters for Lily. I know it jumped over lows, so it was a low crushing rage art, but I never like it. Always seemed like her rage art just did really crappy damage compared to other characters. So they're not they're not changing that. They're just making her rage drive really good. And I think it's still like other characters' rage drives where it still gives a combo if it hits, but if it blocks, she basically gets a free mix up now. Circle knee forward 3 hitbox has been made bigger. This is a change I think she's been needing for a while because um, the hitbox on her forward 3 has always been like really bad, in my opinion. Um, like it would whiff when it looks like it should hit and stuff, but basically, I'm trying to find a video where, yeah, here it goes. The range, because it has better range now, she can get a better, you can use it in combos now. And here's an example of that. Again, I'll show it one more time. So that's a good visual. I'll pause it like right when it hits. So that was a weird way to weird place to pause it, but that's kind of a representation of the range increase right there. Um, really good buff. I don't know if the combos will be better from it, but at least using it in neutral will be easier. Like they can't backdash out of it as easy. Potentially better combos. And then her down back 4 is now a homing move. This is this is going to be super aggravating when the game comes out and people play Lilies online because right now her down back 4 is a launcher, like kind of like Fang's, kind of like Brian's and stuff. But technically, I think this should have happened a long time ago because those characters' lows were homing moves and Lily's was never technically a homing move. So, I mean, you could sidestep down back 4 if you knew which way to go. So, even though this is like a really big buff for her, it's kind of, in my opinion, should have happened a long time ago. Uh, Frezia Thrust, down back through was 4 on counter hit has now been changed to a new hit animation. It's like everybody else's, like I've been showing, but I do have a video of somebody messing around with potential new combos with it. Not combos, but potential follow-ups. So at the very least, down while standing 2 hits. And you could probably get a stomp also. But, for now, all I've only seen while standing 2 hit and forward forward 4, which is the last thing here. Forward forward 4 recovery frames decreased by 1 frame. This move, forward forward 4, historically has kind of been like I want to say it's like a trap low. At least in T6, Tag 2, it was like you get a little bit of damage, but it was always like this big risk against, at least against top tier characters, because a lot of those characters, let's say Bob and Kazuya and Jin and stuff, that all have 14. It used to be minus 14. So every time you try to go for forward, forward, 4 against those characters, you were risking getting launched if they blocked it. And at worst, at best, I think it was like maybe plus 2 or 3. So, it does decent damage, but it was like you have this back turn option where it's not technically better because you can't hit confirm it. You can't see Root of Evil hit low and then go back turn. You have to commit to it. So if it gets blocked back turned, anybody is going to be able to launch you. So I think in 7.0 or maybe it was just FR, they made it minus 13, a little bit better. And now they've made it minus 12 and it's plus 4 on hit. This move is now I don't want to say really good low, but it's definitely a good low now. Because you don't have to worry about getting launched for getting it blocked. So now it's slow. It's like 20 plus frames, like 22-ish, kind of like that. So, but now all you have to do is worry about people low pairing it or just hop kicking you. And that's just mind games. You can condition somebody to look out for this and then stop doing it, but even if they like random block low, you're not going to die for it. And I think this is now going to be a really good low for her. And in general, these are, uh, besides the Rage Art thing, these are all buffs for Lily. And I think they're buffs that she kind of needed. I don't know if she's going to be a really good character, but she's definitely going to be better now. More consistent, honestly. Alright, Dragunov. Rage Drive, frame advantage on block increased by 4 frames. Let's see here. Okay. I I remember this is like it always, at least when FR first came out, this Rage Drive looked like it was more plus than it used to be, but than it actually was, I should say. But yeah, increased by 4 frames. So this big his Rage Drive is like a super running 2. It's like this huge ass running 2. You think it's gonna be this amazing plus on block or whatever, and it was actually just like plus 1 or 2. It was actually worse on block than his normal running 2. So much so that he had like a follow up where he was supposed to go into tackle, and you could just jab him out of it while standing 4 out of it. It's like whatever. Like there was no point to it. So now they increased it by 4 frames. Now it's like plus, I want to say plus 4 or 5. Potentially that means that if you go for the tackle follow up, they can't beat you out anymore. So it might be a potential, at the very least, you can go for a guaranteed uh, ultimate tackle, and then try to get damage off of a command throw the throw mix up. But I think that was like it was really weird because like I said, it looked like it was way more on block than it was until people figured out, no, this thing is like whatever. You block it, and then you don't have to be as afraid as you think you do. So I think it's a buff that makes sense. Um, Razor down to properties on counter hit has been changed. Damage increased by 1. This is the only low in this patch, I think, that was changed, but wasn't doesn't give that new knockdown. And I'll show you guys. Yeah, now it gives the same. It gives the counter hit move that like Kazuya does down back four. When Kazuya hits down back four counter hit, it's the same kind of low. It's like the ow my toe kind of thing. But you don't get anything guaranteed from it. And I think Eris made a good point of it. You know, usually I like to think Eris doesn't know what he's talking about when he's talking about Tekken. But he made a good point where I think they might have planned on giving it the same knockdown animation as all these other moves, and then they thought, no, that's too good. Give it something else and we'll figure it out later. And that actually made a lot of sense to me because honestly, besides the damage increase, I don't think the move itself has changed on on hit. I think it's yeah, it's still it might be it might be like super plus, but it might be that fake kind of plus that you get, let's say, when you block running, like I don't remember if there are any moves anymore that do this anymore, but like there used to be certain moves that you'd get hit with them, and they'd be like they technically they're plus 10 on hit, but you can't actually get like free jabs or whatever. It's like fake plus. So it might be one of those moves where technically he's like if he hits counter hit down two, he's like plus what a million, but he can't actually hit you anything. But he does get a free mix up afterward. But we won't know until we see more Dragunov play. I mean, these changes are interesting because I think Dragunov low is like a sleeper top tier character. Like I think he's got a lot of individually, he's got some of the like the most broken moves in the game. But we'll keep going with the patch notes for now. Serrated edge back three properties on normal hit have been changed. On hit with an airborne opponent will now cause a screw. Um, I don't know. I think back three on normal hit spun them around as if it was a screw attack. So hearing that on hit with an airborne opponent will now cause a screw is kind of odd to me because I thought it already did that, but guess not. Under pressure, up forward 4 recovery frames to the opponent after blocking this move is increased by 4. So that means this move is now like 4 frames safer or potentially plus. Let's see here. Up forward, it's now minus 3. So that means it used to be minus 7. So this means he's got a legit orbital. Like the move is not that fast, I don't want to say, but I do believe it gives a launcher in this game. It gives a launch in this game, so you can get a juggle for it. So now it's like minus 3. So I would expect to see Dragunovs throw in the move out more often. Sleigh Ride, Corsica forward 3, recovery frames decreased by 10. Recovery frames for the opponent after getting hit by the move decreased by 2. Damage increased by 2. And then running 3, recovery frames decreased by 10 frames, damage increased by 5. So this is his slide that I like that it's called Sleigh Ride, but it's spelled Slay. That actually is making me laugh. It's actually really funny to me. But regardless, the recovery frames decreased by 10 frames. That means this move used to have a lot of delay on whiff. Like it really stuck out there doing nothing. So that means it recovers 10 frames faster. But for Corsica 4-3, if the opponent gets hit, they they're not they recover 2 frames faster. So it's minus 1 where it might have used to be plus 1. This move is a little bit confusing for me, depending on when it gets blocked or something like that. Like because it might have been one of those moves where if they get hit with it at the very end, it's plus frames, but if they get with it early, it's like minus. But regardless, both versions of the slide, the running 3 slide is not like other character slides. If it hits you, normally he goes into a command throw. If it hits really shallow though, it doesn't. But either way, damage increased by 5. And then rolling escape, sidestep 3+4, recovery frames decreased by 2 frames, now has crouching status. So they gave him this, I want to say it's an FR, but maybe it was in Tekken 7.0, and nobody's been using it, honestly, unless they've kind of been like trolling around. So this is sort of an incentive to use it. Hey, it's kind of like King's when you sidestep with King and you do a throw and he does like the little extended sidestep, but and then you can cancel that by holding down back and then recover crouching. So this is supposed to let maybe potentially help him get position better and then recover. Now his crouching status means like he can go under he can potentially like sidestep, do the roll, and then go under highs and stuff like that. But both these changes are supposed to, I see them as incentive changes. Like, hey, remember this move? We gave it to him. We really want you to use it. We really want you to think it's good. But um, but yeah, Dragonov. I think these are all buffs. The only one I don't know about is the back three one, but all buffs for Dragonov. Leo, K and